Hello and welcome to Hawaii for PTC 23. I'm João Marcos Lima, the editor of Tech Capital, and I'm now joined by Marcos Peigo, Senior Advisor for DigitalBridge and founder and CEO of Scala Data Centers. Marcos, thank you so much for talking to me. It's been a long time in the making.
Yeah.
COVID didn't help for us to talk. You operate in a very, very interesting market, which is LATAM. It's a market that over the last 2 to 4 years, more or less, has gained a lot of traction from a lot of people.
Yeah.
What would you say are still the challenges, but also the opportunities within the Latin American space?
Yeah, thank you. First, a pleasure to be here. It's been a time that we have tried to have an interview like this, so it's very nice to share with your audience what we've been doing with Scala and how the market in LATAM is evolving. I think it's a combination. LATAM is a combination. The demand that we see now in LATAM is a combination of the growth on the economy as a general in countries like Brazil, Chile, Colombia, and Mexico that we see progress as well, with a combination with the constraints of power and demand in places like Virginia and US. You see customers in LATAM that were previously using capacity that has been deployed in the US now are looking for lower latency and capacity deployed near to the consumption and generation of data. So this combination made that the market in LATAM is now at least 5 times what it was 5 years ago. So 5 years ago when I closed my first hyperscale agreement was for 2 megawatts. Now we are negotiating 20 megawatts single tenant building.
2 megawatts is a child's play.
And the challenge comes from that because the countries were not ready for this size. So when you think about people, specialized labor, infrastructure, power, permits, you need to work on all the variables to go from design, permits, construction, engineering, and operations, which is really challenging, especially after a pandemic. And if you consider that Scala was born during pandemic, we launched the company April 2020, so it's been a huge challenge.
But you've done very well, because I mean, you were just telling me you started the first year you closed with 70 megawatts, and then last year you closed with 200 and something?
In the last we grew Scala by 7 times in bookings since our inception in less than 3 years. On the previous 4 months, we signed almost 60 megawatts in bookings, leasing only for hyperscales. Our approach is a little bit different than the market in general for Latin America. Instead of sharing facilities among several customers, we build single tenant facilities, allowing our hyperscale customers not only to deploy their capacity today, but also granting for them a clear path, a clear avenue for their growth in the future, which is unprecedented for Latin America.
7 times growth seems to be DigitalBridge's favorite number, because your sister company Vantage is the same thing, 7 times growth.
And the plan was for 7 years, and we did the plan in 3 years.
Even less than
I guess 7 is Mark's luck number.
It's a beautiful number. I mean, it's Ronaldo's number as well. I was going to ask before we go into the business itself and what you're doing in the expansion plans, but Latin America, it's really starting to flourish now.
Yeah.
There are some competitors you have in the market. So you've got Aligned, which has recently acquired Odata. You've got Digital Realty, they acquired Ashanti. So those, I guess, are your probably 2 biggest competitors. But if we look into the bigger competitors seen within the region they operate in, what is the current state? Is there enough space for everyone? Do you need more competitors? Are you looking forward to have more competitors so even the pricing can change, for instance?
Yeah.
Give us a spiel on the competitive landscape.
I think when we look at this, it's not only the data center market, but the niches on that. So the hyperscale segment, the enterprise segment, hybrid cloud, private cloud, and public cloud. We have this unique proposition on being completely focused on the hyperscale landscape. So our growth is based on the hyperscale single tenant agreements for long-term deals. When you look for our competitors, they have like a mix and a hybrid portfolio. The pace of growth that we've been seeing so far, as you see, the Scala is the youngest in this market in 3 years, and we found our space, which gives me the sense that there is space for everyone. What is important to highlight is that to establish a new platform in countries like Brazil, Colombia, Mexico is not easy. So it's important the combination that it's about global knowledge and global experience and local knowledge. And I think this will be the drive for new competitors and new players that comes into this industry.
Very, very interesting, because the focus is still very much on the hyperscaler front as well.
Yeah.
It hasn't even got to the edge really closer to the...
We are enabling tier 2 markets. So for example, in Brazil, we started with our campus in Tamboré, but we acquired a facility in Campinas, and we are now deploying Porto Alegre, Rio de Janeiro, and Fortaleza. So we are looking to enable these tier 2 markets in countries like Brazil. We are going for Chile, for example, in Curalma, which is a place where the Humboldt cable is expected to be live in 2026. We are ahead of this demand. And this is the way we combine this global experience and understand what our global customers want, applying our local knowledge of what's happening in the landscape, and bringing this expertise in favor of our customers where the capacity should be deployed.
Okay, and then of course DigitalBridge is a huge backer of the business. It's a very good brand to have behind you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about financing, investment, and M&A opportunities that you got. What's the pipeline? Are you going to go shopping for new logos in the market?
Yeah, the important about DigitalBridge is not just financial backup, but also operating expertise. Yeah. So what they bring to the table is much more than just money. And the way we see the company being structured, we just raised 2 billion reais in debentures, the first green debentures issued for the data center industry in Latin America, and the biggest in Brazil for all the industries. The previous one was 1.6 billion by team, and we raised 2 billion. The profile of the agreements that we have, which are long-term agreements with AAA customers, long-term 10 to 15 years, makes it really financeable. It's easy to finance. For now, we are using local market debts with some help for international investors. We see capital flowing for good quality contracts and risks that are mitigated. So I feel comfortable with this growth.
Okay, and then expansion plans. So you've announced you're going to build about 28 facilities in 2027. I'm kind of assuming this is just the beginning. It's going to be more than 28 by 27 anyway. But, talk us through about the expansion plans, about this 28 and what's coming on top.
Yeah, the way we see the market growing, as I told you, supporting tier 2 markets and investing heavily in tier 1 markets, we have what we call hyper campuses and we have what we call hyper edge. So hyper edge are facilities that are distributed where the connectivity is dense and where you don't have space for big campuses. So we deploy a single facility that acts like a bridge for big campuses, and we have flagship campuses. So Tamboré and Lampa in Chile, or Tamboré in São Paulo and Lampa in Chile, we are talking about 450 megawatts of IT capacity in Tamboré, 21 buildings, and in Chile, 80 megawatts of IT capacity, which is the biggest ever permitted in Chile. So the way we see is deploying capacity today, as I told you, reserving capacity for our customers' growth, and providing for them a 10 to 15 years path for their continued growth. This year we are launching Chile, we are launching Colombia, we are launching Porto Alegre and Rio de Janeiro, and today we are launching one building. And I'm here on the phone, I'm far away, and it's like my daughter is alone there, I need to be there, but I'm here with you guys, and so we feel pretty comfortable. We are in Tamboré, the campus Tamboré, we just signed SP12, TB12. So it's 12 buildings inside the same campus, which is also unparalleled precedent in Latin America.
Okay, and then of course, I mean, you're part of the DigitalBridge family, but would you have ambitions to expand into other continents, namely, for instance, Africa, because it's across the continent, across the ocean?
We follow the opportunities and we follow our customer demand. The way we structured Scala as a platform, we are not just a single operator, so when you look different than the common recipe for this, we are not just integrators. We verticalize it a lot. We handle with our own employees, which are more than 600 by now, from design to construction management. So it's like you have 3 companies within a company, a real estate and power company, an engineering construction company, and a data center operator. This is the way we structure. So they have separate goals, separate metrics, and leadership that are very specialized, coming from the heavy construction industry, from the power sector, and this enables us to build something that is very, very unique. And going beyond Latin America is always something that is on the table, but for now there is so much growth to capture in Latin America that we are still first deploying our pins on the map, the flagship campuses, but we are always looking to opportunities, especially on the edge landscape. Yeah,
and also never spread your wings too thin, and do the homework better at the first place.
That's it.
You've already mentioned the green debentures, so $2 billion reais, which is about $370 to $390 million. I don't have the right conversion rates of the day when we close it. But how is the cash being put to work, or has it not started being put to work?
No, all of These debentures, they are basically, they help to finance the next round of investment, because as you saw, it was sustained linked bonds, debentures that are based on what we have done so far. So with that, we are financing up to TB6, and we already have TB8, TB12, Campinas, Jundiaí, and the other places. So this money is all about mitigating risks of delivery by purchasing equipment in advance, by securing an inventory that allows us to fulfill our commitments to our customers, and to reduce the time to market for new sites.
Okay, and then last year you opened a Center of Excellence.
Yeah.
So first question is there a talent shortage in Latin America? Do you suffer from what we suffer in Europe and North America? And how's the Center of Excellence going? Like, what's what
yeah, it's great. Yeah. We doubled the size of the Center of Excellence. We are investing since, with our ESG program, we are investing, we have more than 50, for this year, 58 scholarships. We launched the program 1 million of opportunities, that for each megawatt that we book, we are granting 1 full scholarship, plus a mentorship, plus an internship.
That's a good
so
incentive.
By the end of the year, it's 100 people in economic situation, unfavorable economic situation, that are joining this program, and they will flow talents for the Center of Excellence. The reality is that the data center market in Latin America was not established for the size of demand. So the size of the buildings, the magnitude of the demands, the amount of power required for this, the understanding of the whole landscape, the infrastructure landscape, is something new. The way we applied this recipe for Scala was to bring experts from other industries and create this blend with data center, IT, construction, power sector, consulting companies like Accenture, and create this hybrid model of talents that brings the best of various industries to create this hyperscale industry. There was no hyperscale industry in Latin America 3 years ago.
Which is very exciting to be almost like the father of the industry in the new region.
That's it. And you see that what we did a lot that seems now obvious, but to be the first one only 3 years ago, 2 years and a half ago, 100% renewable source, the first carbon neutral data center in Americas. We are going to be the first to announce net zero targets by the end of the quarter. So you see that there is a lot of progress, there is a lot of moving pieces, and this is a sentiment that we have that attracted so many talents to our team, which is kind of founding this industry, the hyperscale industry in LATAM.
Okay, and then Marcos, you were telling me this is your first PTC, it's the first time in Hawaii. What does a conference like PTC mean to you? What does it do for you?
Knowledge and exposure. I think it's the knowledge that we acquire and the exposure that we have in a concentrated 3 to 4 days with everything that happens in the conference and surrounding the conference is great.
Okay, Marcos Peigo, thank you so much for talking to me. It's been long in the making, but it's been a pleasure. And I'm sure we're going to catching up in 12 months' time again.
Yeah, we will.
What we've been up to.
Pleasure.
As for you at home, thank you for watching, and do check our website for more exclusive content out of PTC 23 here in Hawaii. Until next time, mahalo.